Max's new documentary series Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV delves into the controversies surrounding Dan Schneider, and here is what happened to the producer after the events that the show covers. Dan Schneider was a producer who prominently worked in kids TV, with him producing some of Nickelodeon's most popular sitcoms like iCarly, Victorious, Zoey 101, and more. However, Schneider's name has mostly been associated with inappropriate behavior on these sets in recent years, something that Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV highlights, although there are still questions about the show's ending. Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV is a 5-part Max series that looks at the dark underworld of some of Nickelodeon's most popular live-action shows, highlighting the treatment of children by some involved in the creation of these series. Various allegations have come out surrounding Dan Schneider and other prominent figures within several of Nickelodeon's shows, and while Nickelodeon has taken action against the accused individuals, many don't know what happened to them after the events of the series. So, here is a full breakdown of Dan Schneider's post-Nickelodeon career after the events of Quiet on Set. The allegations against Dan Schneider explained. Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV. Although Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV looks at several dark moments from the production of these Nickelodeon shows, Dan Schneider is the main focus of episode 1 of the series. The series delves into several major accusations, with the most prominent being the fetishization of children. The documentary highlights jokes in TV shows like Zoey 101, All That, and Victorious that seem to put underage actors in sexual situations, with this being concerning to viewers of the shows. Although many of these jokes were strangely feet-based, some of them went much farther and into creepier territories. Another major accusation against Dan Schneider in Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV has to do with Dan Schneider's treatment of his female employees. Episode 1 heavily focuses on two All That writers, Christy Stratton and Jenny Kilgen, who explain that Schneider would frequently make inappropriate sexual jokes towards them. They state that Schneider would ask them to simulate sexual acts under the guise of a joke, humiliating them. They also state that Schneider would ask female employees on his sets to give him massages throughout the day, with these employees feeling pressured to do so. There are also several allegations involving unfair treatment on Schneider's sets that didn't involve sexual harassment. Stratton and Kilgen explain that when they were first brought on All That they were asked to split the salary of one writer. This goes against the rules of the Writers Guild of America, leading to a gender discrimination lawsuit against Schneider. The two writers reveal that they were fired from their jobs, ending their time with Schneider in an even more tragic way. Although there are more specific allegations in Quiet on Set, these are the most prominently featured ones. Nickelodeon cancelled dan Schneider's contracts in 2018. Although problematic behavior from Dan Schneider had been going on for years before based on Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV, the conversation surrounding Schneider really started in the mid-2010s. Talks about Schneider's seeming obsession with feet began gaining traction online, directing a more critical eye at Dan Schneider and his time with Nickelodeon. Although several of Schneider's shows were still going, Nickelodeon decided to cancel Dan Schneider's contract in 2018, ending their longtime partnership with the television creator, via deadline. Nickelodeon has decided to continue some of Schneider's projects since the termination of his contract, such as the Henry Danger, iCarly, and Zoey 101 franchises. However, Dan Schneider has had no further involvement in the development of these projects. The Quiet on Set documentary repeatedly states that Nickelodeon conducted investigations into Schneider's sets as accusations were brought up, but it seems that Nickelodeon may have been influenced by the public outcry against Schneider in the wake of the Me Too movement, leading to the end of his extended time with the company.